The law of attraction affects everyone in life, no matter if you're at the bottom of the totem pole or at the top. And that leads me into my quotation: you can no more win a war than you can win an earthquake. And I disagree with this quotation because I think that not only is the quotation wrong, but saying you cannot win a war compared to an earthquake is blasphemous, because an earthquake is a natural disaster, while a war is totally human controlled, and that is a total polar opposite uh, difference. And that this leads me into my three topics I'll be talking about. I'll be talking about the I'll be talking about Eric Cartman from South Park. I'll be talking about John Paul DeJoria, and I'll be talking about Les Brown. So Eric Cartman is a very different type of child. He lives in the town of South Park, and what he does is he conquers his war and his earthquakes by confronting them. And when he does this, he doesn't look at the small problems, but rather he solves it in ways that he knows he can. And that leads me into my next person, which is John Paul DeJoria. And John Paul DeJoria was a man who had to take care of him and his baby because his wife left him, and that was an earthquake when his wife left him. And when she left, he could still win the war by starting up his own business while still taking care of his baby, and that's what he did. And he became very successful and wealthy. And while he was doing that, he ended up having a good family with him and his baby, and then found another valuable life and great woman instead of the past one. And that leads me into my next person, which is Les Brown. And Les Brown is a man who was very, very motivational. He's a motivational speaker, and what he does is he conquers his wars, just like he conquers his earthquakes. His earthquakes he has no control over, but all the wars are all in his power, and that's what he does day in and day out, is conquer those, and that's what he does. And that furthers leads me to disagree with the quotation, you can no more win a war than you can win an earthquake, because as one can see, it's not the same. A war and an earthquake are two totally different scenarios. An earthquake is a natural disaster, while a war is totally controllable by humans. And that is why the law of attraction also goes into play too, because if you really believe that a war is no more in winning than an earthquake, then it will be that way. And that is why I disagree with the quotation.